Hello my Bandicrew and welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be covering the Crash Bandicoot Multiverse. If you're familiar with this channel, you know I'm of the belief that there is only one Crash Bandicoot throughout the entire continuity of the video game series. And I do not believe that there's split timelines and multiverse. But this video is going to be explaining the actual real-life multiverse of the Crash Bandicoot series. So buckle in and get excited. If this is your first time coming to the channel, I release Crash Bandicoot content every week. I discuss lore, theories, news, tier lists, interviews. I have a Crash Bandicoot podcast. All the Crash stuff, you can find it here. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, maybe consider subscribing. So it all starts with Crash Prime. Without Crash Bandicoot from the games, we would not have the multiverse of Crash. I'm not going to be including Fake Crash, Evil Crash, Carbon Crash, because those are all separate characters within the Crash Bandicoot video game series. This is covering the multiverse of Crash Bandicoot. So right off the bat, we have Crash Bandicoot, 1996 PlayStation. And the first entry in this multiverse is Japanese Crash. In the Japanese releases of the games, the design was changed to make him more cutesy. He's in all of the box art. And in the commercials, Japanese Crash. Crash Suit Guy. This guy, he's been around since 1996, the first game in the series. He argues with cops. He goes to Pizza Hut and eats stuffed crust pizza. His lawyer is a mop. He is a hilarious fellow. He goes to the airport. He has his jetboard, his jetpack. This Crash is one of my favorites. Crash Suit Guy. But there isn't only one Crash Suit Guy. There was also Universal Studios Crash Suit Guy. So if you were walking around Universal Studios back in the late 1990s, you might bump into Universal Studios Crash. Just like the video game version of Crash Bandicoot getting a Japanese counterpart, Crash Suit Guy also had a Japanese counterpart. And there's one more Crash Suit Guy that I'd like to show you guys in the Crash Multiverse. Conan the Bandicoot. Crash Conan Bandicoot. When Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled came out, Conan had a guest on and they raced, and the loser would have to wear the Crash suit. Conan did not win, so he became Crash Bandicoot. Now moving on to printed media, we have the Crash Bandicoot manga. The Crash Bandicoot manga covered the first three entries, Crash 1, Crash 2, and Crash Warped. They did a retelling of those stories. And then they had other just crazy, off-the-wall, spin-off comics that had nothing to do with any of the games. They just had, like, quirky joke gag manga. Staying on topic with Crash Bandicoot in print, we have the Disney Magazine Crash Bandicoot. Back in 1999, when Crash Team Racing came out, there was a promotional comic book tie-in for Crash Bandicoot in the Disney Magazine. And we didn't get another Crash Bandicoot comic until Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled came out. And then we got a non-canon prelude comic book to Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. And this is the Crash of that continuity. So we covered video games, suits, comics. Now let's jump into the advertisement of the multiverse. We have a raunchy Crash Bandicoot. This was the Crash Bandicoot that was promoting cross-platforming. So the Xbox, the GameCube, the PlayStation 2, the Game Boys. This was showing Crash being inclusive to everyone. Raunchy Crash. At McDonald's, we got some Crash Bandicoot toys. And for the advertisement in Pakistan, we've got Pakistani Crash. If you haven't seen this Bandicoot, I recommend you looking it up on YouTube. Pakistani Crash and Pakistani Cortex are quite off-model and hilarious to see. If you do not know this Crash, consider yourself very lucky. Unfortunately, now I am ruining your life by introducing you to Australian Crash. Back when Crash Bandicoot 2 was being promoted, they had a very goofy-looking Crash who speaks with an Australian accent and does a lot of pop culture references. He kind of reminds me of Gex in a way, but way more cringy. This guy also is on YouTube, so seek him out if you wish to. Amazingly, Crash Bandicoot has never had a television show of his own. But he did guest star in Skylanders Academy, also rocking an Australian accent. I personally have never seen any of these episodes. I watched a couple clips online. Did not really enjoy this version of Crash, but we will welcome him to the Crash Bandicoot Multiverse. Originally, the first Crash Bandicoot game was going to have animated cutscenes, but they decided against it. A couple years back, those cutscenes were leaked online, the intro and the ending, and this was the Crash Bandicoot of that cutscene. It really reminded me of like Animaniacs and just WB stuff. And speaking of cut crashes, these ones I don't know if you'd want to include them in the Crash Bandicoot Multiverse, but if you do include them, this is Crash from Crash Landed / My Name is Crash Bandicoot, or I Am Crash Bandicoot, which was going to be coming out in 2010, if I remember correctly, but the game got canceled. We have, there's a couple videos online and screenshots, but we never got to play the actual game. Continuing on with cut crashes, we have this mysterious Crash. He appeared to be Popeye-armed and on a mushroom. He was in the background of the designer's offices, but this Crash never came to be. So we don't know much about him. This is his only appearance. Continuing on with canceled crashes, we have the Amazon, I believe it was Amazon, was going to have a cartoon series of Crash Bandicoot, and it got canceled despite it looking pretty wacky and zany. There was a Bible, and we had a lot of character designs, but the show got canceled before it actually came out. These last Crash Bandicoots actually exist in our world. So, as you know, my opinion is every Crash Bandicoot video game is in the same timeline. So this Skylanders Imaginators Crash Bandicoot from Thumpin' Wumpa Island is the same Crash Bandicoot from all the other video games, in my opinion. However, there's an extra layer of lore in the Skylanders series. I'm pretty sure it's of the belief that the characters in the game are transformed into toys in real life. So in our real life world, Crash Bandicoot is trapped in this toy figure. So I don't know if it necessarily makes him another entity, because it's technically the video game Crash, but he's trapped in our world in a toy now. But that's the reason why I'm including this toy. And then I kind of just lumped these in as the same, because it's just toys in general. I didn't really want to include toys, but because I included the Skylanders figure, I just wanted to make reference to this. I do not believe the toys count towards this Crash Bandicoot Multiverse, because it's just toys. And if we counted the bathtub duck, the Funko Pop, the controller holder, we'd have to include every single piece of Crash Bandicoot merchandise as its own separate entity in the Crash Bandicoot Multiverse, and I personally don't believe that at all. So the only quote-unquote toy that I would count would be the Skylanders figure. And that brings us to our final Crash in the Crash Bandicoot Multiverse. This is a 15 million 6-year-old Bilby Bandicoot that was discovered. They found its fossils, and this is a sketch of what it would look like had it not just been bones. And they actually named this Bandicoot, they named this Bandicoot after Crash Bandicoot. So this is a real-life Crash Bandicoot. This is Crash Bandicoot. He came before Crash, but he is named after our Crash. So my Bandicrew, that is the Crash Bandicoot Multiverse. I showed you all 20 of the different crashes that I think compose of the Crash Bandicoot Multiverse. If you think I forgot any, please let me know in the comment sections. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, have a great night, and we'll see you in the next video.